Welcome, everyone. Our wonderful, tranquil 60 minutes together. We'll cover today some favorites that I recommend you pick and choose from in your everyday practice. And I want to thank everyone who's been donating over the years to me, and also to subscribers of YouTube, and that I'm trying out a new camera today. So thank you for your support with leveling up my tech stuff. Anyway, let's take a comfortable seat, and you can sit cross-legged or kneeling. And if you're kneeling, you can place a blanket behind those knees, or you can sit up on a block or a chair. The seat is you customize for yourself, as with the entire practice. Take care of any injuries. I today am propping up my knees underneath the thighs with 2 blocks, and it's just nice and luxurious for that breath work we'll be doing in seated position briefly. And take that edge of the seat underneath those sits bones and allow the pelvis to spill forward. Come into your space, come into the room, come into your presence. Feel the rising and falling of the chest with the breath. And if you feel so inclined, you can close your eyes to cut out visual distractions that allows that third eye, the inner eye, to perceive what's going on inside the body, the breath, the mind. Little easier to become the witness here of what's happening in our moment, in our sphere, as we are connected here virtually. Inhale and exhale. Feel the release of energy as you exhale. Feel the ribs expand with that inhale. And notice that the ribs expand in all directions. So all of those directions, east, west, north, south, all of it. So inhale and exhale, and the diaphragm drops on the inhale. So we're just noticing some of our miraculous anatomical mechanisms here as we breathe. I'm going to suggest we enter a yogic practice of breath called box breath. So it's balanced breath, meaning that you're counting the same count for your inhale as your exhale. On a daily basis, this is a great way to drop into the body, to flush out some of the clutter in the mind. And it's extremely calming for the nervous system. So inhale your choice of your count, since this is a customized for your body. And then see if you can take that same count on your exhale. And as you do that, feel as you exhale for that even count, the shoulder blades are going to slide down the back towards the floor. Perhaps with your next exhale, your shoulder sockets roll away from the ears. On your next inhale, you feel a little rising up in freedom through your neck. That head is more lightly, the skull more lightly, a floating action on the top of the spine. Inhale. Exhale. And if you can also notice as you take your nice balanced breath, just notice the energy around the body, around the skin. If you feel that field of energy expanding a little bit beyond your physical self. If you feel sensations of the room around you, maybe the air, bringing our witnessing into a more a brighter presence here. And if you're ever having trouble calming down, for example, trying to sleep or something, this balanced breath is lovely, lovely cure for that. One more inhale and exhale, flutter the eyes open. Notice the difference after you've evened out your breath, perceiving what's around you with a softer light, perhaps. And then we're going to switch over to our recline position, starting with our earth beneath us, and then we're going to rise up from there. So take your blanket aside and take the feet to the bottom of the mat, nice footprints. Take the hands behind you and ease yourself down, holding the back of your head as you drape yourself onto your mat. Find that awareness of the back body as you stretch and recline. So the legs are out straight, and we're going to keep the feet active, toes up towards the ceiling to begin with, and take the arms next to the body, palms down. Press into the earth with your full arm length. Inhale, exhale. As you press in, feel that'll lift the chest a little bit, and then see if you can squeeze those shoulder blades together, and then ease back down. So we're unrounding our shoulders. And then in order to unround the shoulders a little bit more, we'll open the palms to the sky. Another great way to align the spine every day. Today, you can take your pick of which ones are your favorites to incorporate into an everyday experience. So let's make sure our back of the skull is aligned with our sacrum, the triangular bone at the bottom of the spine. And we're standing up, but we're reclined. So this is our mountain pose, reclining, so that when you do mountain pose, you can feel that same alignment as if there was that support behind you. Remembering the back body, not something we always do. So remember to bring that awareness to the back body. So you're going to keep those feet active and take the hands to the thighs and just feel those thighs engaged. Feel the thigh muscles engage into your hands, and you'll notice that supports the knees a little bit so they're not hyperextended. There you go. Inhale, exhale, drop the hands down again, palms up, and then we're going to pump the feet. So we're just going to wake up the energy channel from the toes all the way up to the crown of the head. So just pump those feet as if they're against those accelerator pedal. And just feel that gentle rocking it creates in the body as you pump. A few more times. Nice soft breath with this. Inhale and exhale. So feel a warmth that courses maybe beyond that physical self, little radiating outward as you warm up the body. Perhaps that radiating light, it's a kind of a light that you can imagine beyond your skin. And then slow the pumps down, and then flop the feet out to the side, just to release the hips a little bit. Inhale the arms next to the ears, reach up above the head, and feel again the connection, fingertips all the way to the toes. Point the toes and then flex the toes. Point and flex. Reach up longer with your right side through that arm. Feel the energy on the skin of the side body stretching, and then try the left side. And then sweep the arms next to the body, bend the knees, feet on the floor, hip width apart, knees hip width apart. Beautiful. Sacrum on the mat. You'll feel the lift of the low back off the mat, and the back of the ribs are on the floor. So the low ribs might want to lift up a little bit. So see if you can just gently tuck those low ribs in a bit towards the floor, and you'll feel that engagement in the deeper abdominals, transverse abdominis, supporting the stability of of the pelvis, of the torso. So notice that stability. Feel free to take a hand to the belly and just notice if you let go of that engagement, it loosens up those muscles a bit. And if you just gently tuck that low rib in, there you go. You can feel it in your hands. So we're going to keep that stability in our practice today. So we're going to straighten out the right leg here. And then we're going to lift the right leg up, the right thigh to match the left. So just kind of strengthening the legs here, those quads. Lift up and down. A nice flow with the breath. And as you do this, notice maybe wants to be a bit of a wobble in your pelvis. See if you can keep it nice and steady. And one more time. Great. And then we'll bend that leg, foot on the floor, straighten out the left leg. Inhale that leg up and then down, keeping the foot nice and active in that flex position. So we get that nice thigh engagement. Find that sacrum as your anchor here. Beginning to warm ourselves up here. And then bend that knee and come on up. Come down with that foot. Take the arms to the mat and really, again, take the palms down and press the length of the arms into the mat. Feel that strength in the arms, the lift of our sternum. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Again, remind those shoulders to glue down to the floor. Inhale, exhale. We're going to take the right knee towards the chest. Keep that right foot nice and flexed and bring it towards the chest, keeping our leg in a right angle. And then down to the floor, bring it back down to the floor. See if you can keep the torso super steady as you do this. Then we'll take the left leg towards the chest, keep the foot active, and then place it down. And then, so we're keeping our legs in the right angle as we do this. And repeat. So as you do this, notice with your third eye, that witnessing inside of our muscles engaging at the base of our abdominal complex. So way low in the abdominals, we're getting nice engagement there. Maybe the low back starting to take this load a little much. So if it is, then just don't go up as high with your foot. So just come a few inches off the floor. That's fine too. See how steady you can keep things. And if your low back starts to take that too much, stop and just take a moment. Inhale, exhale, engage the abdominals and go back to it. Great. And now we're going to do this puppet string. So we're going to take our arms up towards the sky, trying to hug a cloud there. Imagine that there is a string on your right wrist connecting your right knee, and then match that action with your arm as if they're connected. Same on the left, wrist to knee. So we're doing this puppet string pose to get that core engaged. Again, steady with our abdominals. That low rib action, the rib ring, try to make that happen because that will really fortify and getting flexibility in our hips while we fortify the abdominals. Now here you can take your feet and tap them to the floor once you get used to that stability. Climbing a ladder, puppet strings. The important thing is balance. So let's try to match the movement and the breath. See if you can find that lovely count of your breath and match it with your movement. That balanced count, inhale, same count on the exhale. Trying to do this and this movement can be a little bit like the trick of, what is it, chewing gum, rubbing the belly, something like that. Nice mind challenge. Can you feel that warmth in the core? I can. and then drop down. So again, another nice everyday pose. But if you're going to do this every day, you want to make sure that you don't go beyond your capacity with the low back. You want to make sure we're getting into the abs. Grab a block if that's nearby. And we're going to inhale the hips up. Just take a nice little spa for the low back after doing that. Take the block to the sacrum. It'll feel good. If it doesn't feel good, shift the block around so that it does feel good. Drape the arms next to the body, and if you can, lengthen out one leg and then the other. That's nice. And keep the feet active for a moment while you get settled onto the block. Inhale, exhale, flop the feet out to the side, and just become aware of those hips opening up, maybe some fluidity, oxygenation. Inhale, exhale. So this is also a nice stretch for the psoas and the quadratus lumborum. Those are connectors from our legs to the pelvis and the torso. And it's hard to stretch those. So this is a good one. Nice and passive. 3 breaths here. Allow the gravity to take its course. Shoulders roll away from the midline. And on that last exhale, let's bend the knees. Take the feet to the floor. Lift up off the block. Now the block will become our little strengthener as we take it between the thighs, and make that width of the block so that you can have your hip width apart on the legs. Squeeze the block gently, lift the hips up, reach again for that cloud in the sky, and then reach above the head. Squeezing the block, we'll reach up again, and then drape the arms down, snake the spine, each vertebra at a time, down to the mat, and then lift up again. How even can you make this movement with your breath? The inhale helps to encourage that floating sense, that lightness as you lift up. So those upward movements, nice to match the inhale, and then the exhale with our downward movements. Give that a try. Really reaching long with those fingertips, reaching up at that block, and then down again. And one more, just because it's really nice to stretch out that psoas. Come on back down, remove the block, place that to the side, lengthen the legs, lengthen the legs, and then we're going to flip over to our cobra. So come onto the belly, take the forehead down directly to the mat, and take the hands next to the shoulders and the elbows, glue those to your ribs. Great. Now from here, take the tops of the feet and place them on the mat. Make sure you spread all those toes. That can be challenging. Sometimes the feet cramp up, at least mine do. And I like to press there so that awakens the whole leg. You'll feel it just kind of ripple up the leg. All the muscles wake up. Great. Now from here, we're going to again glue those elbows to the ribs as we inhale. Roll shoulders away from ears and pull up into a baby cobra. Feel the lengthening here. So with cobra, you don't want to crunch into the low back. You want to lengthen through the crown of the head and then exhale down. Inhale up. So this inhale and this peeling off the mat might get more as you repeat the action, or it might not. But either way, you're fortifying that low back to support your spine. Those muscles that support the flexibility of the spine, we need to give those some nice attention. One more time here. Beautiful. Bring the forehead down again. Take the arms next to the ears, so we're the opposite of what we were on our back here. Same reach though, through the fingertips to the toes. And then we're going to lift up the left leg along with the right arm and the head. Inhale, really reach long on the inhale, and exhale, come down. Now we're going to lift the right leg along with the left arm and the head. Again, inhale lifts you up. Light energy. Exhale, back to the grounding. And then the other side. Alternate. How many millimeters can you stretch out between that diagonal, the fingertips to the toes? Extend a little more than you would just without awareness. Inhale. Exhale again. One more time. So we're fortifying that cross connection, right to left. Bring the head down. And then maybe this will be one of your favorites. We'll see if you want to incorporate this into your daily habits. Inhale, everything off the floor, the arms and the legs and the head. Hold it. Inhale. Even breath. Count it. Even breath. Exhale. And then bring the head down. Wiggle the hips side to side. Just loosening that gripping in the low back. And we're going to really lengthen as we take a paddle, a swim across our favorite body of water. Inhale and paddle the arms and the legs. Feeling that glutes engage. So those glutes are large muscles and we need to recruit them. We're so many things and they like to just kind of take a little vacation, but let's wake them up. Exhale, come down. We'll do it again. Wiggle the hips side to side. And then lengthen out. Inhale. Swim your laps. Keep yourself long. Keep the face soft, the neck relaxed and lengthened. Inhale and exhale. Then down. Take one ear to the mat. Say if you can feel that settling in there. Back to that breath. One inhale, that's nice, even count. And an exhale. Lovely. Take the hands next to the shoulders. Ease yourself up if you want to have a little push up there. You can do that. And we're going to come up to a seated position. So we're going to need to bring that blanket back into our action here. So bring that to the mat and take a side sit. This is another favorite for the piriformis and the glutes, which often get tight. Again, they're kind of hidden in that back body, right? And we don't pay attention. They can get really tight from lots of exercise, lots of sedentary, whatever it is. They need our love. So let's take the left knee and bend that knee and take the foot in front of the body. Take the right foot and right leg and bend it to the right. But you can also keep this leg out straight if you have some issues with your knee. So side sit with the front is the left in front. Okay, let's take that awareness to the sits bones. You can take some fists to your side here and just lift up and settle down onto the edge of the blanket. Now, if you notice with your mind's eye, if you can close the eyes and just go down to those sits bones. And if your one side is lower than the other, try to lift up the side that's lower with the edge of a blanket. So find your equilibrium here. Yeah, find that equilibrium and just take the hands to the top of the thighs and just feel the glide through the hip sockets as you just gently turn side to side, just very subtly noticing the hips settling in here. Inhale, exhale, see if you can find that gravity in the hips. Beautiful. Take the fingertips to the mat. We're going to inhale the shoulders up to the ears, tense, tense, tense. Inhale, exhale, drop them away and reach for those fingertips. As you drop them away, just travel that energy down the arms. Lift up with your head. Oh, so much taller. And then we'll take our chin over towards the left. No strain, just noticing, witnessing over to the right, noticing our range of the neck. So we're using this as our just baseline to notice, maybe this will change later, what your range is. And then come back to center. We'll look up and look down, taking the chin into the jugular notch here. And just dropping the chin while keeping your sternum nice and tall. Drop the chin a little bit more on the exhale, but find that even breath, balanced breath here. Your inhale, that head gets lighter and you just look up. Now we'll take a luxurious side bend. If you would like to take the block to your side, it's a little launch pad here for your side. If you can't get that forearm down, do that. Inhale, exhale, lean over to your left as you take the right hand to the right hip. And I'm going to show it on the block here. So I'm taking my forearm to the block and softening my left ear toward left shoulder. See if you can encourage that right hip to stay down. And then inhale the right arm up to the sky and reach over to your right. Take the palm of the right hand and turn it towards the back of your room. Rolling shoulder away from ear. A nice little subtle movement that rotates that arm and shoulder socket in a very therapeutic way. Inhale. Exhale, really lift the side body as you come into this luxurious side bend here. And then sweep up to the other side, micro bend over here. Right ear to right shoulder. Come back up. Lift the arms to the sky. Come into cactus arms. And bring the forearms together and lift up towards the sky, pressing those forearms together. We'll take 3 of these, closing the curtains, lifting them up, gently opening. And one more. Inhale brings them up. Exhale brings us down. And we land with our fingertips down again. Take that block to the side. And we're going to turn into twist and another great everyday pose. Take our fingertips around in a circle around the body towards the left side of your mat. And you're going to feel that twist happening in the upper and the mid and upper back. And see if you can just hinge at that left hip, lean over, take your palms to the mat, and use your finger action pulling back towards the bottom of the mat to lengthen the spine. Inhale, and we're going to lean over. You can let go of that right hip on the mat and lean over your your left thigh. Goodness gracious. Okay. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, come down to your forearms, Sphinx arms if you can. You can even take a block under your forehead here. And just drape yourself down on the mat, surrender. Or you can even take the arms out even longer as you drape over your left thigh and take the forehead to the mat. As you ease yourself down, no force, again, this is a suggestion. So if there's something that's uncomfortable pinching, you want to come up further, use that block to change the angle, or surrender. Inhale, exhale, notice the resistance in the hip, like if you're just having some tightness, sensation, notice that. Notice if the mind tries to flurry around that, and come back to your even breath to see if you can calm the waters. Take your right leg and see if you can straighten that out towards the back of your mat. heel active, so flex the foot. And now we get length on the right side. Inhale one more time. Feel the belly against the thigh. And then take the hands underneath the face or underneath the shoulder, sorry, and come on up. Notice the difference in that left hip. And from here, another classic, we're going to take Lord of the Fish. So take if you have your leg out straight, you're going to just just bring that right knee in front of the body, guide your thigh underneath there with your hands. And then you can take the foot in front of the body, make sure that our hips are even again here underneath at the edge of that blanket. Take the hands to the shin. You can also, if you're used to this classic pose, you can take the right foot over on the other side of the left knee or in front of the left knee. So those are modifications. Please use them. Don't force into any over effort into anything. Take the hands to the front shin. Inhale. Let's see that length in your spines. Great. Exhale the shoulders away from the ears. And then we'll take our classic twist here. We're going to take the hands up into cactus and then turn over with the strength of that transverse abdominis, turn over to the left. And then take either hand to shin and then the left hand behind you. We're going to twist over this way to the left. Squeeze out that exhale. Come back with our cactus hands, back to the other side. Turn the sternum to the right, the gaze, and then take the hands to that knee, hand to the knee and the back of body, press into the floor through your fingertips. Turn. Maybe you bring, again, that neck range over the right side. Notice if it's a little more flexible here. And then come on back. Lord of the Fish. Back to the front. Hold on to that front thigh. Just feel the height here. Wonderful. And then unwind yourself, and we're going to switch to the other side. So right leg folds in front and either straight left leg out there or tuck it under to the left side. And take the fist below you and just come up and shake it down. And you might need a little more adjusting with that blanket. Take your time, no rush. Make sure that you have that level of the sits bones. So the sacroiliac joint connects that sacrum to the pelvis. And that joint around it can get destabilized if we take a crooked pelvis. So we want to make sure we can even that out. Just a little anatomy there. Inhale, take the fingertips to the floor. Exhale, just settle into those hips. Just might take a little moment. Let's turn the chin over to the right and to the left so we feel that neck range here. Come into the front, look up and down. A little more stretch to the back of our necks, back body. Bring that awareness. And then look up. Great. And then take that block to the right side. I'm going to demonstrate with that block. We're going to take a right side bend. Inhale, fingertips up. Exhale, drape over to the right as you take your left hand to that left thigh and anchor. And then drop the right ear toward right shoulder. So we're also getting a nice neck stretch here. Take the forearm to that block. If you prefer the ground, you can land that forearm down there. And feel that nice arc from our left hip. The spine is arcing, the side body is arcing. Then we're going to lift the left arm up to the sky and then over the left ear, softening down. And then another subtle movement with our palm towards the back of the room, starting that rotation at the shoulder socket. Feeling as we inhale, the left ribs lift up along with the left ear. And then as we exhale, descending. Matching the breath and the movement. And then sweep that left arm up. Make that arc shape with the right arm. right fingertips and paint the sky there. Lean over to the left and feel the stretch on the right side. Come on back up, that freedom, take the block to the side, or if you're going to use it for your head, you can place it over there. Inhale, exhale, trace that line around the body, nice beautiful circle towards the right thigh. And then we're going to take the fingertips on the other side of the right thigh. Hinging at your right hip, we're going to lean over towards the right side of the mat. Using your fingertips, trace back energetically towards the bottom of the mat. Lengthen the spine first. Exhale, lean and follow your heart downward. And if you can find Sphinx arms down there, great. If you can bring the forehead all the way down to the hands for a pillow, that's great too. As you settle in, noticing again that mind-body connection, perhaps there's discomfort or sensation and some thoughts around it. Watch them go by. And then see if you can straighten that left leg so it reaches through the heel towards the back of the mat. Nice long surrendering dragon, if you will. The lovely inward surrender. Great. Bend your left knee. Ease yourself back up. And then come on up to seated again as you take your hands underneath the left thigh and guide that left foot in front of the body. Definitely want to even out those sits bones again. Our lovely anchor down there. Again, if your knees bother you, just take the shin further away from that folded shin, away from the body a little bit, or you can even place a block under it. So hands to the front shin, inhale to get that leverage and length. Choose where you want to place that left knee, whether it's in front of that knee or on the other side. Personally, I'm going to go for the in front of my knee. Inhale, exhale. We're going to twist over to the right to begin with, cactus arms, and then over to the right. And then take whatever settling through your hands you want here. So action of inhale feels that lift, you feel that lift, and then exhale, see if you can take the twist through the mid and upper spine, and the gaze over, and then come back to our cactus through the center. Guide yourself over to the left. Hands settle down, and then we can anchor through the hands and squeeze out through your exhale. Where does your gaze go? Over to the left, perhaps. Guide yourself with your breath back to center. Let's stay in cactus for a moment because I didn't do the close the curtains here. Let's just close them and bring them up one more time to get into those forearms. Press them together and lift up. Guiding and oxygenating our hips, our shoulder sockets. Oh, the words. Okay, come on back down, and we're going to switch very briefly to a cat-cow position to our tabletop. And on the way, I definitely suggest cushioning your knees. That's always a nice thing to do. Please bring the shins to the blanket if you have that cushion, and the kneecaps are just draping over the front of it. Then you can protect your kneecaps, the precious kneecaps. Take the wrists below the shoulders and the knees below the hips. Find your tabletop, find that strength in your torso. So that same stability we had lying down, we're going to have that same torso solidity here. Roll the shoulders away from the ears and you'll feel more shoulder muscles engage. And we'll tuck the tailbone and inhale into a cat. So back of our ribs shining up towards the sky. Exhale, drop the head and just look at those knees. Feel the lift of the navel towards the spine, a little extra arc. And then exhale. Let's bring that tailbone up and reverse the arch. Shoulder blades come together and then look up. Now take the even balanced breath into another cat-cow. Even counting. Exhale into cow. One more time because it's just delicious. This is, if you have a craving for more, feel free to fill that craving. Do another one. And then come back to neutral. Spine. So find that stability in the spine. This is where we're going to take a little challenge and a quad stretch here. So we're going to take those nice solid hands beneath us, curl the right toes under, straight right leg, lift it off the mat. So find again that stability that we were finding in all of our other positions today. Bend the right knee, sole of the foot to the sky. Okay, and from here, reach with your tailbone towards the bottom of the mat. Find even hips, stable through this core, and then inhale the left arm next to left ear, and then out to a horizontal with your left arm, holding steady through the torso, and see if you can reach back and find that foot behind you, the right foot, or if not, just reach that sole of the foot towards the sky. If you do find it, make sure you keep those hips even and keep the tailbone pointing energetically towards the bottom of the mat. Inhale, exhale, quad stretch. Come on back down, bring everything down. Exhale. Inhale, let's curl the left toes under and then lift that off the mat. Find that evenness in the hips, bend the left knee, sole of the foot to the sky. Here already, you can get a quad stretch by just activating that tailbone, keeping the hips even, reaching up, and then the right arm comes next to right ear. Continue your even breath as you reach that right arm out to the side, and then see if you can find those toes in the back. And open up into our quad stretch. You guys have developed a lot of strength, so this should be pretty balancing. Inhale, exhale, bring it all down. Beautiful. Now, as we move up to our standing sequence, I suggest that you take that blanket to the side, anchor your shins down on the mat, stretch the arms out. We're going to come into puppy pose. So in puppy pose, our thighs are at a 90-degree angle to the mat, and we're going to bring the forehead down. So if you're more comfortable with down dog here, you can do that too. But we're going to start out with our puppy as our base. Inhale, exhale. Reach on through the spine. And then bring the hands next to the shoulders, and we're going to bring the right knee forward and the right foot forward into a low lunge. Curl the back toes under. So the left toes are curled under. Let's find that square hips again, square breath, square hips. Inhale, even breath. Exhale. And then tiptoe forward with your left toes to meet the right. And we'll find our forward bend here. Feel free to take a forward bend in our with our straight legs or our bent legs, sorry. Inhale, exhale, drop the head so you feel that weight of the neck, of the head, gives a little traction to your neck, just naturally. And then we're going to take the hands to the top of the thighs, slightly bend the knees as you hinge up to stand. We'll take the arms up to the sky and take them into prayer position. We'll sway over to the right for a side bend here, anchoring through our feet. And then sway over to the left. All the while, imagine that energy of your back body nice and supported. And then come back up. Sweep the arms down, hands on hips. We're going to take the energy, the balance into the right foot. And like we were doing on Tuesday, we're going to lift the knee up, the left knee up into a right angle. And this time we're going to point that left toe out to the top of the mat and staying in a nice long leg, We're going to trace a line towards the back of the mat and just stay standing strong through the right leg, bend the knee. So we're going to claw the floor with our foot. And just again, let's visit that stability in our torso as we keep the leg active. The longer you reach, the more you're going to get lengthen your lower torso. So the lengthening of those muscles that often get shortened with sitting. Inhale the knee up. If you have any confusion, just look up here. And also, this is great for the glutes. Strengthening, continuing that clawing action, lengthening as you go towards the back of the mat. And then last time, you're going to trace that line back, and you're going to continue the line to the back of the mat as you bend the front knee towards our warrior one. So come so that the right toes are towards the front of the mat. We're bending that knee nice and behind the middle two toes, and the back foot is angled about 30 degrees or whatever's comfortable for you. You might want to widen the stance, so scooch over, protecting the knee. Take hands to hips and see if we can even out the hips as we face those forward towards the top of the mat. Descend with the pelvis so that it's just dropping evenly into the middle of the mat. Point the tailbone down. Inhale the arms up above the head. And then prayer position with those hands, and we'll salute that as we look up. Warrior one. And then swan dive your arms around the outside horizontal as you come back into a lunge. Down to the mat. Great. Bring the back knee down and the right knee comes back, and we stretch out into our puppy. Or if you prefer downward dog, you can take that too. Take the third eye down. Inhale. Exhale. Notice the breath. And then bring the hands next to the shoulders. Bring them back up to our tabletop. Inhale the left knee forward. And the left foot in between the two hands. Curl the back toes under. Here we are in our lunge. Even out your hips and the breath. And then tiptoe forward into our forward bend. Looking at the world upside down. See if you can find a stretch in your hamstrings here. Hands on thighs and flat back. Come on up. Inhale again. Left side bend. Right side bend in prayer. And then we'll take our balance to mountain. Imagine that support behind you, aligning the back body as you take the weight into the left leg. Inhale the right knee up, and then we'll take it, straighten that leg, point the toes, and claw the floor. Feel free to take the hands on the hips so you can feel those hip bones nice and stable and even. Follow your breath. Maybe one side's harder than the other. If you find yourself standing anywhere for a long time, you can do a mini version of this, keeping things active. One more time. And then the next point of that right toes, we'll trace that line all the way towards the back of the mat, bend the front knee along the way, behind the middle two toes. Drop the pelvis down, point the tailbone down. As you angle that back foot, widen your stance into our warrior one. Guide that tailbone like an arrow pointing downward, and inhale the arms up. Take the arrow upwards through a prayer position. Feel the connection, tailbone to the top of the fingertips. Make sure everything's fortified. Bring those feet together energetically and look up at your hands. Welcome the breath. Exhale, swan dive around the front foot. forward lunge on the left side. And then sweep back, and we'll take a down dog here. So the feet are our base and the hands hinging at the middle. Inhale, hips high. Exhale. Let's see if we can settle those heels down. And we did this on Tuesday too. We're going to roll the shoulders away from the ears as we transition to a plank on an inhale. And on an even exhale, we'll come back to down dog. And the same again, inhaling forward. As you roll the shoulders away, you'll feel those larger muscles, latissimus dorsi, really support your strength. And exhale, back down dog. And then ease your knees down to the mat and roll onto the back. And you can grab your strap. And take that lovely, comfortable feet on the floor, knees bent position. And another everyday practice here is through our hamstrings. They get so tight so easily, just like those glutes. Inhale the right knee towards the chest. Lasso your right foot into that strap and rise up through that right leg, nice and long. Micro bend and straighten the right knee so you can get into our hamstring. So we can take a little tour here. I'm gonna do a more brief tour today just because of our hour time limit, but you can take this as slow as you need to. If you do this on a daily basis, feel free to take that right heel towards the left hip. And when you do stretch your hamstrings on your own, make sure that you're anchoring through that right hip so that the femur bone is nice and gliding into that hip socket. And then take the right heel out to the right. So we're really doing an extreme right stretch. If you want to straighten out your left leg, you can do that as well. Take the hand to the left thigh, anchor it down. And then bend the left knee again. If you had it bent, left foot on the floor, sweep the right foot across the sky, and then come over onto your left side and just allow the right foot to land on the floor. Take your right hand to your heart, elbow to the sky, and open up to your right twist. Bring your mind's eye to the pelvis and just notice if it's 90 degrees to the floor. And you can always add in a little thigh stretch if you reach for your left foot. Find your breath here. And then we'll release that. Ease that right leg up. And bend the knee. And do the other side. Left knee towards the chest. Lasso the foot. Again, on your own, get down on the floor, grab that strap. And if you only do one thing during the day, this is an awesome one, especially if you have lower back issues. Bend and straighten the leg. And as you do this, you can even get into an upper back stretch if you just roll those shoulders towards the floor as you grab the strap. There you go, another upper back stretch. So take the left foot towards the right hip. Anchor into your left hip. And then take that left heel out to the side. Straighten the right leg if you'd like. Anchor through the right thigh. And someone put their anchored hands on. A teacher did that for me the first time. I was like, wow, this is really different when you anchor through that other side. Inhale, exhale. Right foot finds the floor, bend the right knee. Trace across the sky with your left foot and roll onto the right side. Hold onto the strap. Left hand to the heart, elbow to the sky. Turn this into a twist. And then if you can find that right foot with your hand, you can just add a little bonus to this pose. As we ease towards our wonderful resting pose, let's find that balanced breath again. So find the count that you had earlier, or see if you want to change the count of the breath. Maybe you were at 4, you want to go to 5, but see if the 4 or 5 or 8 can match the exhale. Inhale and exhale, matching up. Release that foot. Trace across the sky with your left hand towards the right. Ease that left foot up towards the sky. Release. Feel the freedom in your legs, and then stretch them out, flopping the feet out to the side, palms to the sky, squeezing the shoulder blades together as you again press through the arms and settle. Back to our breath. The music of the breath. With that metronome to the breath. So we're evening things out, balancing our count. If you play music, you know it's challenging to play with a metronome to keep that steadiness of our rhythm in music. Same with the breath. Without that awareness, we can really throw it off kilter along with our flurry of the mind. So try bringing that rhythm into the body. Enjoy another count of breath here. And then come back to normal breathing. Noticing the difference from our entry to practice to now. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Bend the knees and the elbows. Ease your amazing body over to the right side, away from the heart. And then help yourself up with your hands to a seated position. Let's reach for the sky one more time, inhaling, exhaling through prayer, down through center to the heart. Thanks so much for joining me in this practice today. Namaste.